Welcome to Tea Time with Alice. I'm Alice, and today I'm drinking the Tea-Chino's Dandelion Caramel Nut Tea, which is not actually a tea, and most of the teas that I've been drinking for these tea time videos aren't made from real tea leaves. They're infusions of herbs and other plants that have flavor. When infused in water, it creates a sort of potion that is tea-like. This one in particular, and what Tea-Chino tries to do, is create non-caffeinated coffee and black tea alternatives. So a lot of their stuff is marketed for coffee drinkers who want to get away from coffee, but I don't drink coffee, so, but I really love black tea, and I feel like a lot of their dandelion and carob infusions kind of mimic black tea by being deep and rich and a little bitter, but are non-caffeinated. So that's an example, and I thought about doing the blueberry vanilla version because we are going a little blue today, but I was a little more in the mood for the caramel, and I feel like that's a good kind of fall drink, whereas the blueberry is kind of any season. So I went with caramel today, and by the way, this video is not sponsored. I am not a big enough video maker. I don't have enough followers to get a sponsorship or anything like that. I just really like this brand. Also, daylight savings happened recently, and that might affect the lighting. I'm not a professional videographer either, so I'm just kind of hoping that it looks good. And I think it might even be a little better, but it might also be a little weird, so we'll see how it goes. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about today. And I'm still not really sure. I have a lot of things on my mind, as I'm sure many of you also do. The election happened recently, and I imagine most people watching this are people who follow me on Instagram, friends of mine, and I imagine that a lot of you are very upset and scared, and I just don't know that I can articulate my thoughts about that right now, so I'm gonna try not to go on a rant, but kind of some of the thoughts that have come out of that for me, and things that I had been thinking about anyway, I might try to discuss here. And another thing that I've been trying to do with these tea time videos is kind of be a little seasonal about it, trying to match the video with the season of that particular month. And this season, November, has an American holiday, Thanksgiving. And there's a lot of controversy about the origins of Thanksgiving and the meaning behind it, and whether it should be celebrated, and what it means when you do celebrate it, and the commercialization of it. I think that of the popular Western Hallmark holidays, Thanksgiving is probably the least consumerist, despite it being like people are like flooding the grocery stores the week before. But they're flooding the grocery stores for food, not for little kitschy objects that they're gonna hang up for, you know, a couple weeks and then take down and have in storage for the rest of the year like they do for Halloween and Christmas and even sometimes Easter. I mean, there's fall decor in general, but I feel like Thanksgiving specifically, people care a little bit more about being together as a family, and the food is sort of like a motivator to get together all as a family and and to cook and share a meal together and express gratitude. So to me, that's kind of what Thanksgiving is. It's this time to feel gratitude for what you have. And that could mean your family, but at this time, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it means your friends. Maybe it means your, the things that you love that keep you sane and happy throughout your life. Maybe it means just being alive. And whatever it means to you, I don't think that that's a bad thing to think about, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the traditional way. So I want to talk about things relating to that. And I might go all over the place again because I hadn't really thought about like a specific topic. I'm just like stream of consciousness right now. So I've been thinking a lot about what I have and what I want, and also, capitalism and consumerist culture and career paths and finances and the things that people my age are struggling with in general, and probably other ages too. I think maybe everybody is, but I'm surrounded by people my age, so that's kind of what we're all talking about. And so, for example, I've been posting these videos on Instagram and on YouTube, and people watch them on Instagram. People don't really watch them on YouTube. I don't have any kind of following. I'm just doing it because I've heard other influencers say, you should start a YouTube channel and you should get your videos out there, and you're not going to have any followers for a while, and then eventually you might start getting some. And I think that I'm just kind of doing it to see what happens. But I also have watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I've watched a lot of videos from people who are trying to inspire others to be creative, but also be less consumerist. And I think that that's something that I really struggle with, to be creative in a way that is ever going to be financially viable. For example, selling your art, but also not be sucked in by capitalism and, oh, you have to buy all these things in order to make things, in order to sell things, and trying to find more economical and environmentally friendly ways to be creative. So I switched to digital art recently so that I wasn't using as much paper, and buying pens every month. I bought one large expensive piece of technology and have been able to do dozens of art pieces with it so far, and hopefully that will stay alive for a while so I can do a lot more of that, and it also takes up less space, so there's a lot of reasons that I switched to digital art, and that's in part because I'm trying to be more financially economical and also think about the environmental impact of my creativity. And when it comes to sharing, I use social media to share my work. And again, I'm not at all, I don't have a big following at all, and most of my following is my friends, people that I've met, with a couple exceptions. And I feel like a lot of creators that I see on Instagram are people that started out like me but grew a larger following, and now have the opportunity to maybe make some money with what they do. But what I've seen a lot on Instagram and on YouTube are ads, and I've talked about this before, and the influx of companies trying to sell you stuff. And maybe they're small companies, maybe they're small businesses just trying to make it, or maybe they're large corporations. I've seen both. And I've seen some that are trying to be more sustainable and environmentally friendly, and I've seen others that are just literally don't care. So it is hard to navigate, it's hard to know, but in every single one of those cases, the point is to sell you stuff. And I don't want to be like that, and that might mean that I will never make money being a creator. And that also doesn't mean that I think that creators who are trying to make that a career shouldn't want to make money, and, you know, shouldn't put their work out there for sale, or shouldn't promote their creations. It's tough to not be hypocritical in this world, while still following your dreams. So I've been struggling with that a lot, and also struggling with social media in general, how much time I spend on it, how much I let it influence me, and how much I expect of others, because there's part of me that wants to get more followers and have more people hyped about what I'm doing, but I feel like in order to do that, I need to reach out more, and I'm introverted. I don't go out and meet people very often. I really struggle with that. I have a group of friends that I see on a regular basis, and sometimes we go out, but I more rarely go out on my own to meet new people, and when I do, it's hard to strengthen those relationships. You just follow them on Instagram and then that's it. You never see them again, except on Instagram. So I struggle with that as well, and this feeling of reciprocity, like if I'm going to be expecting other people to look at my stories and posts online, then I should also be looking at their stories and posts online, and then I get in a cycle of just looking online all the time and scrolling and looking at stories, and that's all I'm doing instead of doing other things that are better for my brain and better for my spirit. But if I want them to be looking at my stuff, then they're just doing the same things that I'm saying is harmful for me, and I feel like I can't expect that of other people. I want them to also not be on their phones as much, or not be online as much, and to be out doing real things in the real world. But if all of us were just posting things and not looking at any other posts, then what's the point? We could just all have journals or scrapbooks or things that we keep to ourselves. So there's a lot of issues there as well. And I think that as we go into the winter holiday season, and which is very, very consumerist oriented, and as we go into the new year, which is very like self-improvement oriented, I think there's a lot of things to think about how to balance your life and to fit into this world that we're living in, and thinking about what kind of world do we want, and when we are buying things, what is that doing to help create the world that we want? When you see something cool, are you buying it because you want it in your life? Because you are going to set it on your bookshelf and let it be a pretty object that you look at every once in a while? Or because you think it might make your life more convenient? Or because you want to support the person who made it, or because you just need that dopamine rush right at that moment. Those are the things that I'm going to be thinking about. And also, what do I want to spend my time on? Who do I want to be around me? And what are my future goals? And how are the decisions, the small decisions I'm making on a daily basis, going to help me with those future goals? And I think that this is kind of a to be continued video. I think next month, I'll talk more about goals for the future. But for now, I'll leave it at that. I rambled a lot. Thank you for listening.